Hi there guys, and welcome to another Train Sim 2021 video. Today we are on a route I don't think I have done on a video fully. This is the South Lancashire and North Cheshire BR Blue period, version 4.2. It's available on What a Wally Bits website. It's by Andy Freeman and Nick Hudson. This version was released, that I've got now, August 6th, 2020. I have played it on stream a little bit before. So I've covered bits and pieces of it. It's a freeware route that is doing bits to the West Coast Main Line. So think of it a bit like the Missing Link that the ATS are doing. Theirs is a BR Blue period version. They're not the same route. Actually, both routes do share. I think they've got our bridge. The bridges at somewhere, some bridges anyway. So I think Pete speaks to them and sorts something out anyway. This scenario is originally in 87. I wanted something to drive the APT in, so I've swapped out for that. It's about period correct, so I thought, do you know what? I don't mind taking the punt at this. I haven't got CAPT working on it. That is too far above my head. I hope one day that somebody will make me some nice scenarios on this route with CAPT working and everything like that. So anyway, let's get going. You are driving a London Euston Glasgow Express as far as Preston, which has been held at a signal just south of Warrington Bank Quay. Proceed as soon as the signal clears. You'll be calling at Warrington Bank Quay, Wigan North Western and Preston, where another driver will take over for the run to Glasgow. Okay, so the APT, Advanced Passenger Train P. So this is the prototype. Let's get my key in. Let's get it into auxiliary. Cancel my AWS, cancel my CAPT as well when that comes up. That's cancelled as well. Let's get our lights on. Double check that is correct. No, we want that one, I think. No, why did I go left hand? That was silly. Yeah, there we go. We've got the road. Let's get our instrument lights on as well. Whack it into forward. Take my brake off. Get some power. I've got 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, no, so I'm going to change my controller here to, I'll leave you on that and put you as that, I think should work. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you've got boost notch, which is an 8, so that's fine. So, the APT. Probably one of my all-time favourite bits of technology ever created. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. Why do I love it? Because it was different. It was a challenge. It was out of the box thinking. This was aircraft engineers being brought in to do railway engineers' jobs. Lots of people go, oh, it's a failure! It's a failure, massive failure, the APT. It really wasn't. It was a cancelled project, but that did have some bits to do with the technology in it that was way, way advanced for the time. But the fundamental technological advancements that were learned with this project, you guys are still riding on trains with those today, with the 390s, the Class 91s, and a few other bits and pieces as well. An incredibly clever bit of kit. Down from the hydrokinetic brakes to its tilt system, to the way the pantograph tilts, counteracts the tilt. Just a crazy bit of kit. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about the APT for hours. In fact, behind me, my head there, you'll see that sort of greyish plasticky thing there. That is a seat, a standard class seat from the APT. I do have a bit of a fascination with it. I've lots of memorabilia from the APT. I've been very, very lucky to see pretty much a lot of it up at the Crew Heritage Centre. Lovely bloke up there looks after it called Brian. I suppose we share an interest in it, I suppose. Yeah, he's shown me lots and lots of bits about it. Been lucky enough to be on it when it's tilted. Just stationary, but still tilting. It's a cracker. Absolute cracker. The train sim version as well. I love driving it. I love driving it. It's one of those ones you need to have a read of the manual for. It's not as clear cut as other trains. You can get out of sync with it quite quickly, so you can do one little thing wrong and it will turn everything off. So you need to be quite decently proficient with it. And I can't say I'm fully proficient with it because I still muck it up quite often. I think we're a 10+2 rake, so we've got 2 central power cars, and then the rest are driving trailers and coaches. Is that right? What have I got? 3, 4? Yeah, I think so. Trying to remember if I picked the right, what set I picked to put in this scenario, actually. We have to deal with the awful sounds of the 101 there. Isn't she pretty? It just screams 70s design, doesn't it? The doors, the door steps. So yeah, it's one of these seats I've actually got. So you can see behind there, that's actually what's there. Right, are we clear to go? Do I get beeps? I usually do get beeps, but I don't know if it's something I've done with a scenario that means I don't get them, but... Nice, so I'm going to put it into... It's actually notch 8 at the moment, up until 20 miles an hour. It has a boost function. So you can see just now run on 2 power cars. With the boost function though, you've only got up until 20 mile an hour. And then you have to take the boost off, or it won't work function after that. The main reason I think for having it, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but I think it was to do with having the 14+1 or 14+2 sets to get you out of tricky situations over sort of beta and shap and that sort of thing on the gradients. Not sure how often it was used when it was being run in passenger service or in test. I'm not too sure how often it was used. A lot of people think about the failures of the APT. One of the big failures of it being its brakes, its hydrokinetic brakes. While they were never perfect, actually it wasn't the hydrokinetic side that was an issue. Hydrokinetic just means fluid. So it was fluid in a very inefficient propeller basically inside the axles. So the hollow axle with a big dish in the middle. And fluid pumped into there at high pressure in the opposite direction to the way they were spinning. That would give you a braking. The braking efficiency was massive on the APT. Massive, massive, massive. It was actually the friction brakes. So at very low speed, the friction brakes took over. And there was a pin that would wear in an oval shape. And that caused either the brakes to sort of hang on or cling. So that was one of the issues that they did face quite often. There's even a little box in the APT made by one of the engineers that just looks like something out of Thunderbirds that would light up when there was an issue. And those of you who've seen the documentaries will know about that as well. The tilt mechanism itself is the same principles used in the Pendolino nowadays. Enhanced, of course, and modernised, but it's broadly similar. Kit Spackman is the guy who created the tilt mechanism. I've had the pleasure of meeting him, lovely fella. I'm sure those of you that have been up to Crewe and done any of his talks or anything like that would have met him as well. An eccentric, lovely bloke. Mad as a box of frogs, but really good fun. Just so interesting. Some of the stories he tells about when things were being done and that. Jeez. Oh, we're going a bit fast here. But you can see with the brakes, even in notch 3, it's quick to stop. I've got 100, but we've got a neutral section coming up. Don't know if this... This does have neutral section functionality, I'm pretty sure. So keep our eyes peeled for that neutral section. And we can cut the power as and when needed. Stick it into initial. Power's off anyway, so we should be good. Notice my line light should go out. Oh, that's cool. The HAAs or the HAAs or whatever they are above. Did my line light go out? It didn't. So I'm probably pretty sure this does have neutral section functionality because it does on overshap. So I wonder if it's the route or the scenario. That could make quite a nice screeny, that. Don't know if I'll pick that one. The cab itself as well, if you think about HST 89, 91, 90, all of those followed a very similar design to the APT. APT-P. With the left and right consoles. It's the blue in the APT, I think, just crazy. I've no idea why it was blue. Really no idea why it was blue. But I quite like it. I do quite like it. It's different. It's got that sort of the idea that the late 70s and early 80s were still looking towards the future. Like massively looking towards the future. When it was like, it's only 20 years until the millennium. We're going to be on the moon. Let's have a blue train cab. It was that sort of thing. I don't know if this one has it actually, but no, one of the versions of this has a pasty on the hot plate. In your cab, you have the functionality of this one especially is pretty good. So you've got quite a lot of doors open. If I lift this and click, the nose comes up. You do have your diesel generators, which you can start. So a lot of people get really confused with the APT because it does have two Cummins lump in the ends here. Now that did not at any point was that to produce traction power. That was just to keep auxiliaries going, like air conditioning and that sort of thing. With it being sealed, you would have had no way of getting air in and out. There's no openable windows apart from the... I want to say the cab windows, but I don't think you can even open the cab windows on the APT. Oh, you can. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you definitely can. There you go. No, that's the door. Don't do that. But I think you can on the rear one. I don't know. Maybe. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I don't think any of the doors on the side of the train are openable. Any of the windows are openable. So you really would need that sort of backup, really. Fair gradient here, so I'm going to come off the power. For us pulling into Wigan. It's really weird because I'm having to drive a lot of the modern version of this for the missing link stuff. It's really weird sort of still being able to recognise where we are, even though we're set sort of 40 years earlier. I always think of the APT, I still think of the APT as only being like 20 years ago. Isn't though, is it? It's like 40 years ago. think the APT-P's last run was 87 in the test configuration. It was finally withdrawn from service, I think 84. Maybe a bit late. Yeah, 84. I think that was when this project was sort of like, that's it. But they kept the short set running for the Class 91 project, realistically, as a test bed. It might have been kept for the 91 project, but it was used for the 91 project. One of the main reasons the 91 has body-mounted traction motors. So most trains, like an 86 or an 87, the traction motors, the actual thing that makes the train move, is actually in the bogies. It's in the centre of the bogies. In these, it's in the body of the train, and it's on 2 Cardan shafts. On these, it goes into a gearbox and then back in that way. And the gearboxes did have their own issues. There was issues with the gearbox, but it was perfected for the 91s, really. Even though they did have some sort of rationalisation with the Project 2000 stuff, the HGR, the Heavy General Overhaul in 2000. Just because the gearing that was set in the 91s when they first came into service, of course, was mixed traffic, like we were talking in the other video. Well, I don't know if what one of these will come first, but we were talking about mixed traffic locomotives. The 91 was originally a mixed traffic locomotives. It was meant to be hauling passenger trains up the East Coast Main Line at 140 mile an hour during the day and doing sleeper trains on the way back at night. So not only that, container runs as well and fast parcels was also mooted around. It never did. But that's what it was designed to do. So the gearing was mixed traffic gearing. Whereas when they had the HGR, they knew they were never going to be used for mixed traffic, so they rationalised the gearbox in them, made them more reliable. And again, technology that originally stemmed from the APT. I do also have a destination blind for the APT as well. Amongst millions of other little weird bits. I would have loved to have been lucky enough to go on it. My dad always tells me he went on it for a union meeting in London once. Still can never actually pin him down to whether it happened or not. I don't know if he just told me that as a kid. I might ask him next time I see it. I don't know if he'll remember these days, but I'll ask him. So you're going to start to see a slight issue with the DTG APT. The short set doesn't do this. The longer sets do this. Once you've driven them for a while and the tilt's been going, it starts wobbling. It can become undrivable. I would really love there to be a fix. I'm not holding out much hope. We're, 2 years down the line with this now? I don't think we're going to do it. I might see if somebody can fix it. I don't know. It's not really a problem on the short sets, but on the longer sets it is. And we're on a slightly longer set. I didn't think it would be that bad on this run because it's only a short run. Oh, we're missing some textures on that building there. Pretty sure I've got all the requirements in for this. So, I mean, it can still tilt. The one at Crewe can still tilt. Certain coaches, if it can. It can be manually done with a transducer. The tilt packs still whir up and kick in. It's amazing how much of the thing is intact and still working, or the things that Brian's got working as well. When this was hidden away, shall we say, because that's what happened when it got pulled from service. It was hidden, stopped the newspapers getting pictures of it, sheeted over. When it was given to the Heritage Centre for display, or XBR, they cut a lot of the cabling that was involved in keeping it going, the traction cabling, and then in subsequent years of it not necessarily being the best looked after, it was in quite a rough state when Brian took over it. I think he took over in about 2009. I want to say that seems a bit long, not sure, but anyway, he's taken it over and he's got so many little things working. It's unreal. Just little touches like the intercom. I mean, we the crew meets. I was sitting here talking to people about the cab and stuff, and then the guards intercom went, and it was Brian in the guards compartment. Or Kev even did it to me one time as well. It's just really cool. And I do feel really weird not being able to have gone and seen it this year. Like, I haven't been up. I think I was up twice the year before. Twice the year before that even, I think. Missing my overheads as well here. I don't know if that's a loading issue or a route issue. How strange. Whilst it's nice being able to drive all the way to Preston on this, we're not far off with the ATS and the modern version missing link, and I'm really pumped about that. I've just been looking literally earlier on today at the latest screenshots of the new Preston station, and it is looking. I'm so pleased with it. So pleased with it. Really looking forward to getting in game and showing you guys as well. I'm hoping to get a little bit of a tidbit. I'm hoping Pete will be nice to me and let me show it off a little bit earlier than it should be, while the very final bits go together. What that will mean is that you will be able to drive when this phase comes out. You won't be able to drive the full merged version, but when this section comes out, you'll be able to do from Birmingham to Preston. But soon after this, I'm guessing probably around Christmas time, a little bit after Christmas time, in theory, we will be able to go from Euston to at least Preston. And if the merging in of the West Coast Main Line over Shepparton North goes well, there is nothing realistically stopping us doing Euston to Glasgow or Edinburgh. I know merged routes aren't everybody's cup of tea, don't get me wrong. I like them. I like the sort of challenge of driving a whole route and all one go. Not everybody does, but I'm buzzing for it. And I will have to do a run in the APT. Or what I must say about this is that won't be via Trent Valley. Okay, so that'll be via Birmingham. Because of the way Thomson's EULA is, we cannot merge in the Trent Valley section. So won't include Trent Valley. So it'll be Glasgow or Edinburgh to Euston via Birmingham, or vice versa. So Euston via Glasgow and Edinburgh via Glasgow, blah 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 blah. You catch my drift, you know what I mean. Oh, slightly speeding there. Does feel like I'm really holding it back, only being able to do 110 max. Like I say, when I can get a scenario in that will give us the CAPT system, so control APT, which is what this thing in the middle is, it would flash up my actual speed I'm allowed to do. That's done by via balizes in the track in real life. Some of those were only removed. I think I think they're all gone now, but some of them were literally still on the track up until very, very, very recently. So it was a form of in-cab signalling in theory. Speed advisory. More than signalling. Oh, 95. Didn't see that one come up. It's just a pleasure to drive. Those of you that haven't got this, I recommend getting it in one of the sales or whatever. It's not something I drive every day. It's really not. And there's not masses of scenarios out there for it. But see, when you do get a good drive of it, it is a pleasure. It was Ed Fisk. It's one of the guys who I think he still is at DTG for TSW, but made some of the highest quality stuff that have ever come out of DTG. Put it that way. Scripting and functionality and that sort of thing wise. He did a lot of the Woodhead and Blue, Woodhead and BR Blue. This, quite a few other bits and pieces. They're the two I mainly play of his. And he also did the WSR 47 and all of that for TSW 101. Might be wrong. And Preston, how different you look. If you guys would like to see some more APT videos or want to know a little bit more of the history about the APT or anything like that, leave a comment down below and I'll see what I can do for you. I love waffling on about it, so I'm more than happy to. So, nice quick video for you today, guys. Really, really short. Just basically for my own benefit, I may just add. I wanted to drive it and found a scenario and thought, oh, I can swap that out and that'll be good. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it too. See my beautiful lady and herself. So, thank you very much, guys. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe. Head over to AlanThompsonSim.com for your latest and greatest train sim needs. Head on over to the Facebook group if you want to keep up with everything that's going on. That'll also keep you in touch with what's going on with the Twitch streams. So at the moment, I'm streaming an awful lot more than I usually do. I'm up to about 4 a week instead of 2 a week. So if you want to come over and have a pub-style adult environment, but I say adult, it's just the wrong word. But you know what I mean. It's a bit more grown up than most things. Welcome to Preston. Another driver will take over for the run to Glasgow. Time for pie and mash at the cafe over the road. It is time for something to eat because it is dinner time for me, so I'm going to go and grab something as well. Right, once again, guys, thanks ever so much. Take care. Catch you next time.